Hey ho everyone, and welcome to the first analysis for UPL 13. We are having an analysis over a few SV games, and there were quite a few interesting SV games in the first week right away. And today with me are OreoSpeedruns and Mr. Strap.
Hello,
Yeah.
I'm OreoSpeedruns.
And I am Strap Black, aka the Strap.
Alright, so for our first game we have selected one from the best of threes. It's between FF2 and Highlord. So, as many of you can already tell right away, Lilligant, not a very common Pokemon. I think it has zero usage normally, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
It's not
but
normally a mode that's considered viable, since it's super reliant on Sun, on top of being really frail with the pretty ass typing.
Yeah, I mean, the thing it does have going for it is that it has like super fast sleep powder, so in a sense it's like budget Darkrai, if you will. maybe better.
Yeah.
yeah, it's got access to sleep powder, which looks like is gonna be quite useful in this game. That is, if he doesn't get caught by with the Hatterene on his team.
Yeah.
But looking by the matchups, I kind of liked how Highlord's team fares versus FF2's. I like how Zacian looks. Zacian looks pretty well into Fighter's team. He doesn't really have any like measures into it besides like maybe taking a hit with a Ho or perhaps
Or like
surprising with
Celestializing Koraidon.
yeah,
or
it's
Art.
wrestling with
Yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
and yeah,
I
I'd say that
go ahead.
pretty quick. My bad. I think the matchup looks pretty favorable for Highlord. I haven't watched this game, so everything is this is like a complete natural, what's the word?
Yeah. So, what do you
forgetting.
think would be the primary sleep powder target Highlord would choose in this matchup?
Definitely either Kyogre or Koraidon, because both look really threatening, especially Kyogre, because he doesn't really have a good way to punish, basically. Well, okay, he does have like Water CS and Koraidon, but he has to make pivot plays to actually punish Kyogre clicking moves.
Yeah,
And Koraidon also is just naturally very threatening if you don't have a Fairy CS, which Highlord very much doesn't. So, those two, I would say, are the primary targets.
yeah, I'd say so. So Fat Fighter leads it with and obviously Koraidon is not gonna stand, so Fat Fighter goes for a Brave Bird. Then he goes hard into Kyogre, anticipating a recover or a double.
I'm just gonna say, I actually really like how Ho-Oh and Sun looks, because, like, it pretty much walls everything on this team, unless Highlord's packing some bullshit, like, I don't know, Terror Rock, Lilligant, or some BS like that.
I think they
Yeah.
run
like, not-
something like that in RU.
Drug.
I don't know, but they did used to run Terra Rock. It has perfect coverage
But yeah.
with that, I believe. Yeah.
But yeah, FF2 is definitely gonna want to preserve his Ho-Oh and try to also utilize it to be able to get his Kyogre in position to break. I think I would say that's FF2's game plan in this match. And Highlord popped Terror immediately. That's not good.
Terra Steel. Yeah.
And
So
gets
I still
muzzled.
yeah.
Yeah, isn't this like the substitute set that has been popping up more and more lately? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I
I'm
saw.
surprised he didn't go for sub initially, but
Yeah.
if he had it.
Maybe expecting
I don't
like
understand
mystical
why
fire.
he's not going Ho here, to be honest, because, like...
He doesn't
Shrug.
really want to take a scale. That's my assumption.
I guess, but,
Hatterene isn't really as
but,
useful
like,
as...
I mean, it's not really that useless. Like, it legitimately munches water CS for breakfast in Sun. It
Yeah.
prevents Lando from setting up rocks. It prevents Lilligant from throwing around sleep willy-nilly. I would definitely not say it's useless. Though I do understand. Though, yeah, I do agree. It's probably less useful than Ho.
Mm.
So, yeah.
And the Koradon gets sacked here pretty early.
Lord,
He dodges the origin pulse. Now we have a
goddamn,
Ho against Hello.
this goddamn luck, Lord.
I mean, yeah.
That if we can pause, I think that that damage from Highlord indicates maybe it's probably well, Fat Fighter's Ho is more like offensive.
Well, yeah, that
And-
would make sense. If it's if there's a Hatterene, but at the same time, I actually don't know if it is, because like he already has double priority. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it is. I wouldn't be surprised if it is offensive Ho, but I also wouldn't be surprised if it's actually Highlord's Ho that's offensive. Because like defensive Ho, brave birding, and offensive Ho, it's gonna produce a similar calc.
Yeah. Maybe one is special
56.
defensive, but I'm not too sure. I mean,
No, actually, I think it's more likely that Fat Fighters is the offensive one because it took 56 from Brave Bird. So
Yeah.
yeah. Though
that's just my guess.
game looking a bit into.
I will say I don't think. I will say I understand why it's defensive Ho, but at the same time, I'm not sure if I like that, considering there's already an E-Killer Gambit plus a Kyogre. I don't know. Maybe it's Scarf Ho. Heck.
Scarfo.
No way, right?
Scarf
Then
Ho
again-
would be wild, but I also don't think it's that way.
Is that?
Although it could be.
Okay. Yeah, the
Oh, shit.
RCSS. Or
The Lilliganton as he goes
triple
for triple
axle
axle.
doing quite a bit here. 50%.
Good chunk.
Yeah. So the Ho is less of a check to it than expected. It's surely
Well,
has-
to be fair, it's probably offensive, so, like... If it were defensive, that'd be a much different story.
yeah.
So Terra is already exhausted, so I assume he might. Okay, either he attacks or goes for sleep powder, but powder just attacks.
Oh, it's Rocky Helmet Hat.
Yeah, it takes
Oh, shit.
how much
That's
damage
gonna
there?
put a huge... That puts a huge dent into... That puts a huge dent into Hilligan, doesn't it?
Yeah, like 33%.
And it's
Raw
probably
Terra
Terra Rock Blast. God damn it. I
It-
was
it-
joking.
I mean, I am pretty sure at this point it's like Terra Rock, like what or maybe Terra Fire, but I don't think run
No,
that.
it's gotta be Terra Rock.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
doesn't really have a way to answer Ho and Sun without it, other than just like praying his Ho wins the 1v1. It's gotta be Terra Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, possibly.
He's also most likely not boosting move because he's already revealed Triple Axel, Terra Blast, and Sleep Powder. So maybe he could be Victory Dance in the last slot, but I doubt it.
Probably close
Stablis
combat.
against it's awful. Even more than, well,
So we got the SDE killer with the double edge.
Yeah, the double
So
edge.
now here comes caution.
The double edge set has also mostly been popping up more recently, right? I believe it's not
Yeah.
been that popular that long. Alright. Yeah.
I mean, it's had instance. I mean, it's had brief moments of popularity in the past, especially in the Maridon meta, because like it KOs a Ho with Life Orb at +2, which is funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not been too popular in the post Maridon meta. But yeah, it's been popping up much more nowadays.
I mean, I would
Though,
imagine it's
at the
also
same
quite
time,
good into like defensive RCS.
no, yeah, it's very good. Though I'm not sure if I like it not being Life Orb, because you do miss out on some calcs that you can only get with Life Orb. If I remember correctly. I might be remembering wrong, though.
Opts to not keep the RCS alive here, since Phil has a prior in the back with King Gambit.
Interesting set of plays. Just gets the SD.
Taking the wild charge here, but it switches out. And the Hatterene is now also gone, so Highlord might be able to get the rocks up, potentially. Is this Scarf Coridon?
Gambit goes for Terra Dark. 66 2D. There's a lot of doubles. I'm surprised Howler's not just. I mean, Fat Fire's not just clicking Origin Pulse.
Yeah, I agree. Like, it's completely free at this point. Like, what is he gonna do about it?
Switch into RCS, I suppose, but yeah, okay, it's CM Ice Boom last. Probably. Is that even Bandit? Maybe. No, it's not even Ice Beam.
It's usually not Ice Beam. It's like Dazzling Lima Roar.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I suppose that makes sense, especially for like demons. Crits on the U-turn, killing the Kyogre.
Yeah, most likely mattered, but Gambit goes for an FD and it's looking like a threat. Just King Gambit,
Yeah.
I don't see.
Oh
I
yes,
suppose he can go
there's the sleep
and just
powder here.
now you can just attack here.
Oh,
as-
it is.
Yeah,
Oh, it is?
it's probably Scarf in that case.
That's
Also, yeah, it is not boosting move.
Down goes the Lilligant and
yeah. Going.
And it's pretty much wraps at this point.
Yeah. I mean,
Honestly, it might have been closer if Fat Fighter 2 just tossed Coridon instead of potentially banking on King Gambit. Because, like, I don't know I don't know my calc off the top. I don't know the calc off the top of my head, but maybe there's a chance that Sucker, Five Fallen, kills the Ho-Oh from this range. I don't know.
We can look it up real quick. Which set did we say Highlord Ho was?
It was definitely defensive based on the fact that that Fatfire's Ho only did 41, right? I feel like
Yeah,
it
it
must
might
have
have
been.
max attack on a. Must have been max attack on a Ho. Possibly like.
Yeah, okay, Sokka would have done 54
Okay, so
to
it
64.
doesn't kill without crit.
Yeah.
Still technically a chance.
If it crit, I suppose. But yeah, if
it's the thing, Highlord just loses, right? Because it's most likely I don't actually know. I'm not actually sure what it might be. If Waruchuu didn't click its last move versus Pridon.
Okay, so I think it is actually probably not like fully defensive, because we saw here the Sacrifice at 71, and even with like crit, it wouldn't have done this much, so it had to have some attack investment. And yeah, but
Though maybe it is just actually like that with Sunup.
oh yeah, okay, never mind. I forgot the sun. Right. So
Oh yeah,
crit was still a roll then. Yeah. But
I will say it also didn't not make sense. I guess he did have to bank on odds a bit, but like, still.
yeah, though in total, for sure, really interesting game. Seeing Lilligant, and also seeing I'm pretty sure this is Bandit right? It did like 60.
No, it has to be. If it did that much to Waterfist.
Yeah. Though we don't know how much speed or maybe special attack Highlord is running. Yeah, also Scarf Ho, very rare. I don't think I've seen that before in SV, but yeah.
I've definitely seen it before. I've definitely seen it before on teams that might want Koridon or Kyogre to hold other items on like Hattery and Ho structures.
Yeah.
Like usually you use it when you can't really fit another Scarfer and you still want to be able to let your Koridon hold another item without losing out on Scarf. But it's not exactly the most common, yeah.
Alright, so next up we have a game between the View and
the View and the Pritz.
Yeah.
The View.
We're seeing
the View versus the Pritz.
A pretty insane team on Skyview's side. Alexius, Empoleon, and also Terrapagos, all three on one team. Very uncommon choices, considered by most.
Terrapagos isn't actually the most uncommon pick on non-HO nowadays, but well, Empoleon certainly is. Keck.
Yeah. So.
And I also haven't really seen Alexius that much outside of like HO, so interesting to see.
Yeah,
I have tried it out in the past, but I definitely wasn't expecting the View of all people to bring it to week 1 of UPL. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this plays out.
Yeah, I mean, I believe Alexios was really popular, or at least a lot more popular than it currently is, right after the Mirai ban, but has fallen off in usage significantly, though Bolt Beam coverage with Ice Beam and Electric Judgment is still very threatening to most teams. And yeah, one thing I also recently learned about Terrapagos is that Terra Shell does block or does resist multi-hits completely, as opposed to like Shadow Shield, only lowering the damage of the first one. Yeah. Alright, Trev, do you have anything to say about this matchup so far?
He's muted.
Oh, alright. Then let's just get into it. Leading off with Kyogre. Kyogre, of course, being very strong into the entire opposing team. Yeah. And it is...
That's the thing I've been noticing in general. In this meta, Kyogre is just kind of a bitch. Cause like it's really hard to just truly punish Kyogre clicking any move. Cause it's just so damn strong. And so unusually, and like for a mon with base 90 speed, it feels unusually fast and bulky, if that makes sense.
I mean,
So
yeah,
it's much harder.
You have to be careful around it at all times, pretty much, because you don't know whether it's like Scarf, even Specs, or like boots with Calm Mind, Thunder Wave, and whatnot at the beginning of the game. So you kind of have to assume it's all at once and make your decisions based on that, because you can't really infer much of it based on the team structure. Yeah.
Even if you do know what it is, it's just still really hard to punish, because like water resists are like what? Koraidon, Eternatus, Water Seus. Am I missing any? Or
what is this? I don't know. I think those three are pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah. And aside from that, you don't really have other. Oh, and Kyogre, but
And of course, Empoleon.
at the same time, that doesn't count as much because it's more like. That still takes 50 from Origin Pulse, by the way.
Yeah, Empoleon is pretty passive.
Anyways,
It's like pretty. It was like pretty good pick into this matchup though. We'll see why in the course of this game, but yeah, I mean, Kyogre is like incredibly powerful in pretty much any Uber's tier, like because of its set variety. That's why it's also like a bit weaker in the primal gens, so Gen 6 and 7, because yeah, primal Groudon exists and it usually doesn't run Scarf or Specs unless it's like trolling a bit or matchup fishing. I remember Baba on the Usum ladder.
In this gen it's just really hard to punish Ogre in general, unless it's choice, because like it's so hard. Because like there's like 4 good water resists in the tier, and all of them get hit super effective, and all of them loathe switching into Kyogre for one reason or another. Water Seus, because it can't really do much back and just gets thrashed by Thunder, and also doesn't like taking a Thunder Wave. Cardon and Eternatus both absolutely despise taking Thunder Wave and also take hefty chunks from Ice Beam. Kyogre is probably the safest, but at the same time, it's not exactly a pretty solution to be checking Ogre with your own Ogre.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the thing I'm noticing a lot in these games, and I predict that it'll come up a lot more as UPL goes on. So yeah.
Real quick, that was Scarf damage from Koraidon, right? 6% U-turn.
Yeah, most likely it was.
Yeah, I mean,
I would expect it to be Scarf on this team, and if it's clicking U-turn, I'd absolutely completely expect it to be Scarf. Because, like, not really, there's no other Scarfer that can be on this
Oh.
team besides
Okay.
Koradon.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So we also don't know whether it's like specs or what item it is yet because, yeah, Koradon fast, of course. Yeah, hazards going up right away.
Sorry about that, guys. I had some technical difficulties. I'm back.
No problem.
No worries, no worries.
Um,
So it reveals Booty turn, which that's very good for the view because it means Empoleon is actually completely safe into it.
yeah, like
To be fair, it would also be safe if it was Meteor Beam or something because rain was up. But yeah.
yeah, position does already look pretty good
Great
for
toxic.
Skyview in total, because like 2 layers of spikes up.
Mhm.
Third one is going to go up eventually in this matchup. Like Lando can't do anything into Gliscor. NDM, it's
And
also
our favorite
pretty
gets
easy to
toxic.
get one up against it. Yeah. So Skyview holding a pretty commanding position so early in the game. Arceus got toxicked. Pretty difficult to win from here.
And yeah, it's correct. And Boots Kyogre.
And
Boots
this,
Kyogre, I expected it to be, but I also don't really know if it's the best play here because like if it's War Fairy and Roxlando, it's most likely Calm Mind Arc Fairy, but it's also but I feel like 7U was banking on CM War Fairy winning against Stole a bit too much. And don't get me wrong, like Boots Kyogre ended up being a lot better in this matchup than say Specs or Scarf. I'm just saying it might have been.
I wonder.
So, anyways, that Lando just dropped.
Yeah, I wonder whether it was the right choice to let that Lando die here already, because in Koradon it always like this, but I suppose it got the rocks up, so it covered the bulk of its position, but might be getting difficult to deal even with some of the options on the team there. Yeah.
This is just a really hard matchup for 7U in general. Because, like, Skyiew rolled a really good matchup with Spikes and Alexius. So
So what does what
it doesn't kill because Terra Shell resists all the skill shots hits.
Yeah. Still interested to know what. Let's see.
Depending on if it's
They usually run Fizz Def to my. They usually run Fizz Def to my knowledge, although it might be Def with a Glide. If there's a Glide score, I don't know.
That one. Yeah, I think it is. So I would have done about 50% here. Not enough to kill by far.
Miss sucked though, because as Ogre goes for TN, the V just spins and Toxics. Yeah, I did 48.
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult for XIII to win from here, if not impossible. I'd say it's pretty much already over at this point.
No, it is. Like, Skyiew just rolled a really, really good matchup, and like, don't get me wrong, he played it well, but with this kind of matchup, you definitely need to throw pretty
Yeah.
hard to lose.
Yeah, you're a bit cut off here, but yeah.
Lose.
The Prince has like somewhat of a chance here because he has
From this
CM.
position, Kyogre opportunities, and really once Kyogre went down, there really was nothing beat. Okay, XIII just had NDM, and Sky has two resists. Well, technically not two resists, but he does have two specially defensive phasers, so like he's still at no risk of losing.
Yeah. I mean, while the rest of this game plays out, we can maybe talk about the general viability of Empoleon. Like mentioned before, the pretty much only reason why it is as good as it is that yeah, it does it's very passive. It doesn't really threaten much. It does resist some attacks like E-turn and can roll them and do knockoff stuff. But in most positions or into most teams it's too passive. So yeah, you really have to be aware of a good matchup in order to make it work. Yeah. Any concluding words from your side to this game?
No, that's fair. No, honestly, that's just a fair assessment. Really, just Skyiew rolled a great matchup and played it well. Not really much to say here.
Yeah, he just played well, and he had Electrius, which was gonna be a threat from the start.
Yeah. Alright. Then next up we have XIII versus Lana. I don't remember the old name Enjoy had, but yeah, definitely seeing interesting teams here again. Hatterene has really picked up since UWL and seen a lot of use since then, also for this team right here. And I believe Scaladurge is pretty rare on balanced teams nowadays, right?
Yeah,
Scaladurge is just pretty rare.
passive. You don't really see it much on balance
Period.
except for like, a stall.
Yeah.
I think Dirge like is it's only like
Yeah.
it's good what it has to do. Like it can check Koraidon and it walls Zacian.
It's pretty passive.
But outside of that, it's like
So then does it's
it's but looking at them, Oh, my bad, good.
Same
Yeah, I believe there are some connection
time,
issues again.
it's not really that
Oh shit, the connection issues. No.
Sounding like a robot. Uh,
But I think the matchup, uh, depending on what the Lunalis set is from Aatrox side, it looks like it can possibly do some damage here because they can come in on Skeledirge and they could either Calm Mind or just attack from like either Moongeist or Dodge Shock to hit
good of
the
a
Eternal.
Koraidon
yeah.
Yeah.
check, as its defensive stats aren't actually
Mm. Yeah.
sufficient
Depending
to kill
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
But yeah, Skeletor is a pretty rare pick nowadays in general.
I mean, I believe it is better than Dozo on stall, or usually better than Dozo.
No, usually Dozo's the preferred choice nowadays, just because of its like supremely higher defensive stats. Like George's a fine pick, but at the same time, given that a lot of stalls, well, mostly the Ice Master one, given Ice Master stall is usually the preferred pick for stall, and it runs Tyranitar, I usually don't like Skeledirge because it struggles even harder to check Koraidon than it, because it makes stall harder to check Koraidon than it already does. Because it's still getting to it KO'd by private scale, right? Yeah.
Yeah, though, with Dozo, you are exploitable if you are able to, or if the opponent is able to force you to rest and then switch out. So I would say it's easier to exploit and get an advantage on. But yeah, let's just get into this game. I believe Hatterene is also looking pretty strong depending on the Eternal set. And T-Spike's immediately getting on Lana's side.
T-Spikes is pretty inconsequential for Lana because she has an Etern.
Yeah.
And like 4 T-Spike immunes.
Yeah.
So I don't think she has much to worry there.
But if the T-Spikes ever do go up on Aatrox's side, is
Aatrox is pretty cooked if
yeah.
I think Aatrox is pretty cooked if he lets T-Spikes go up, so Hatterene's gonna be really important.
Yeah. What is also noteworthy here, Voice Band Dragon Claw Koraidon. I think that is also not something you see every day. But yeah, second choice band Koraidon you've seen in general, and one Scarf Koraidon too.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting. Aatrox goes into Kyogre, Lana switches, predicting it might be Scarf.
Yeah.
This is very bold. So
Yeah.
I get why Lana switched, but at the same time, it might have been risky. Though I guess it's actually pretty safe considering Koraidon's confirmed banned.
Yeah.
So yeah,
there's
Lana
no-
made a good play here, I think. Considering it did turn out to be Scarf based on the calc.
Yeah. And that is also a specially defensive E-turn, which can't hit the Hatterene. So, Hatterene is going to be really difficult to deal with for Lana this game.
Yeah.
Also, yeah.
You got this stealth rock's pretty good actually. It's like Hatterene usually doesn't actually like to take damage that much, especially when it's so needed to check something like a turn. Otherwise, its team just kind of loses.
Yeah, also of course, really hinders Kyogre, dipping it and making
This
the
is
water
bold.
sports weaker.
This by Lana is very bold, I think.
I don't
Like,
know.
Like, I don't know. It feels a bit risky to sack your Koraidon check when Koraidon's still a mon that exists. Like, I get why, but at the same time, it feels like, I get why she sacked Skeletors, but at the same time, that felt like the big thing for limiting Koraidon from clicking a move besides Dragon Claw.
Just wondering how much damage. Yeah, plus 1 hex would do like 50%. So, I mean, it does sort of make sense to try to chip the Lunala here and force it to attack on being unable to recover with Moonlight, since now you open yourself up to more options to sweep, since yeah, Lunala can't block it anymore. And yeah, what would Skeledirge have done in this game? Possibly, anyways. I mean, it can't even check the Koraidon since that is banded and does more than 50% with Dragon Claw.
Yeah.
It also gets like one shot by Kyogre, Lunala, Tinglu, Arceus, so I think
fair.
It's a fair play to do just like this. Yeah.
Takes the future sight and use a truck tries to sack the Tinglu.
But doesn't.
Barely misses the
Okay,
kill.
well he does.
The Earthquake came close to kill him, but
Forces
come in.
the Ogre in, unable to kill now that is weakened. From the stealth rocks, so Zacian gets to live and do more damage with Behemoth Blade. Definitely chipping down the Koraidon for the long game. Though Hatterene's Healing Wish is still out there. Yeah, but this was pretty interesting sequence by Lana in general, because what happened here in this play was that Tinglu is also now no longer able to set up any hazards, so Koraidon, Gliscor, and Arceus will not be pressured for switching in, putting not necessarily leveling the position here, but giving Lana some more room to work with.
This position is very awkward. Oh. Yeah, not gonna lie, Lana balled as hell with that.
Yeah, Pain Split is also not like normal move, right? Normal move on hat.
Yeah, it's pretty normal.
Really?
But she also it also feels like such a baller move to switch Eternout on the very turn that a truck clicked it, especially because he hadn't revealed Pain Split yet. Yeah. It could have been something like Psychic Noise, Healing Wish, etc., etc.
I think if it was Psychic Noise, then this game would be absolutely over. Probably.
That's true.
If it was Psychic Noise, it would have probably clicked it way earlier at this point. So it is a fair assumption to make. It's also double tox E-turn, so toxic spikes and toxic. Have these been on the rise? I remember especially defensive E-turn was not that great for a long time.
I mean, it was always a mon you had to respect. It was just kind of hard to fit on teams with how offensive the meta was for a while. I feel like it's been sort of shifting away from that as of late, but still offensive, don't get me wrong, but it feels like there's much more room for balance nowadays than has ever been before. So like Spit turn is much easier to fit now with this more kind of balancey direction, if that makes sense. That said, I don't like double toxic turn at all. Because, well, as we're plainly seeing here, it can't hit shit if it's not. It can't hit shit if it's not gonna get the toxic off.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's mostly for like Kyogre, right? Or is there anything else that runs the toxic for?
It's mainly for Kyogre, Ho-Oh, etc.
Oh yeah, Ho, yeah, right.
Lunala as well, Calm Mind Arceus. But I don't also like T-Spikes alongside it. I feel like you usually just should be picking one or the other, otherwise you're too passive, which is being very much demonstrated with this Lana game, and E-turn being unable to hit Hatterene at all.
Yeah. Though the rocks only do little damage, it does get waddled down over time, slowly here.
And we do confirm it's Scarf.
Yeah, I think that was confirmed a bit earlier.
It was, but now it's absolutely confirmed.
Yeah. And the E-turn gets the toxic off.
I think Aatrox made a mistake there. Maybe not. But like Hatterene always had a point of entry versus that's the mistake I feel Aatrox did. Like, I don't know, like letting Koraidon set up the substitute as a healing wish.
Sure.
I think that suddenly made this game a lot more dire for Aatrox when he was in a good position before.
Yeah.
Also, letting Ogre get knocked was also not ideal. So
Yeah. Would you say that hard switching into Arc would have been the play here, or what would your preferred option have been?
Go back a couple turns.
Kyogre gets toxic here.
I really don't like eating the knockoff with the Kyogre. I think it was like turn 57-ish. But yeah, I think getting knocked was a really bad thing because it allowed Kyogre to just be a silly ass mon for a bit.
Yeah. I mean, you have to admit Lana's playing this game really well, exploiting every opportunity she can get to, like even the odds out. So
for sure.
The Sasserine was really.
That said, Aatrox is definitely back in this game because he had Roar Water.
Yeah.
So Kyogre can still definitely put up some damage and potentially win. Because nothing's really punishing it anymore because it lost its Scarf, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
At the same time,
Scaramouche was
can
also
also
pretty
make
huge.
some plays to keep herself in the game.
Yeah, the Scaramouche was definitely also pretty huge. I think that would have done without the sun. Would it have killed with the toxic? I'm not sure. I think it would have done
It
like
might
60,
have, depending on
65 or something like that.
depending on if it got 4 or 5 hits, it might have.
Mm,
5 hit. If it was 5 hits, I'm sure our water died toxic. But yeah.
would have done, yeah, with 4 hits it would have done 50 to 58, and with
Yeah.
5 hits would have very likely killed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this kind of forces Lana to find another position for the Koradon to enter.
She kind of has to sack something at this point, right?
Yeah.
Either that or just praying that, okay, so she sacked Highlord. That's fair.
Yeah. At this point, yeah, it is still favorable.
It's not completely over.
Yeah.
It's not completely over. Waruchuu can still do stuff, maybe. Mostly just roaring. But, like,
Yeah, no though. Oh, that was pretty nice play.
She played that bull as shit.
And now
it
it
comes
comes
down
to
to speed tie, and Lana wins it. Yeah.
Yeah.
How much did Judgment do again?
I think it did like 30.
No, like, yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, 24.
Oh. Yeah, this was one as hell if Lana just clicked sub. But yeah. So well played on both sides. I see at several awkward moments, but yeah. I don't think Waruchuu's Judgment kills Koridon's Sub and Sun, right?
Yeah, it could have sub-fished the Judgment.
To be fair, it does only get one chance to subfish, and it needs a high roll to do it.
It does have 2 opportunities. Oh yeah.
No, it does only have one.
Oh yeah. Toxic. I forgot about that. Yeah. Though still without special attack investment, only 25% to 25% to break the sub.
Yeah.
Alright. Still amazing game. Really
But
fun
yeah,
to watch.
Lana could have. Lana's odds would have been much better if she clicked sub on that turn, but at the same time, I understand why she scaled, even if I don't agree with it.
Yeah.
We also don't know what the Koridon's last move was. It could have been potentially also scale. But it's all.
No,
Actually,
it's most likely
no.
it's probably just flare if it's banned.
Water charge, both those.
My guess is that it was flare blitz because it's banded, and already has double fighting stab and dragon claw.
Yeah. All right. Lastly,
It's pretty
we
entertaining.
yeah,
Oh.
for sure. Very very fun to
Mhm.
watch and interesting down to the last turn. And interesting sets, a lot of interesting plays. I mean, Lana did a lot of great decisions throughout this game. Yeah. And finally, we have a bit of a fun game
Oh, boy.
to round this out. Yeah, two very very
Double
similar
DOSHO.
with King Gambit, of course.
Rooting for the Koraidon DOS King Gambit user.
Yeah, the one with the Arceus.
Speaking of, I'm actually very surprised Fish's arc is electric and not E-Killer.
We played some test games, and I guess he just enjoyed Electrius more.
Yeah.
This
But
one's
here we
crazy.
got unfortunate because I guess, well, kind of unfortunate because we got the 5-shot with scale.
With Life
Clean-
Orb, yeah.
And
With a
the
crit.
crit on the third hit.
I mean, yeah, the crit just added insult to injury here. With 5 hits, it would have killed either way.
So now we're forced to go into Electrius and just try to damage this as much as possible.
Yeah, though the
It
Electus
dies.
is pretty offensive, so
Yeah.
is immediately.
And so does DOS.
Yeah, pains
But
from
it does take the
Rocky
credit
Mountain.
with it, because thankfully it's Life Orb.
Our Koraidon goes for Outreach. As we tank E3.
And then the most hilarious, quite possibly the most hilarious turn in this entire game is when it just smacks itself in the face.
Yeah.
and then it just reveals dog shit's sacred sword. Like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. We end up critting Sacred Sword, which may or may not have mattered.
I think it did.
I'm not sure what the sucker calc is. I want to say it might have
think
killed.
it
It's like
kills-
+5.
Yeah.
I don't think it kills without the sacred sword crit.
Yeah.
I want to
yeah,
say it doesn't.
Yeah. And
But we did get lucky here. We end up flinching with Iron Head.
and another
But they
punch.
flinched.
Oh hell no!
Sucker punch.
Why did
doesn't-
you guys go for it?
Yeah.
This was
This was fun.
simultaneously the best and worst game of all time.
For sure. Yeah. I mean,
Koraidon got 3 kills and still lost. That's crazy.
yeah, and the King Gambit mirror endgame is also something to behold. Definitely a game of all time. Yeah. So thank you too for being here on the analysis today. Do you have anything else to add?
Just looking
Nope,
forward to more
good.
games this week, whether it's from
For
SV
sure.
or Visions. But yeah, these are some pretty entertaining games to watch, so hopefully we'll get to see more throughout the tournament.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it.
We're
I am in agreement.
Yeah, we're probably doing a second SV video sometime down the line, since there are a lot of SV games and of course it's current gen. Other than that, I'm not sure if I mentioned that in the manager interview already, but we're probably also going to do some of the all gens first, so RBY to DPP, but we'll see about that. And yeah, with that, thank you for watching and goodbye.
Bye.
Peace. Peace.